And welcome back, Fired Axe, to another episode of Trust Was Fired today. Check out some logs. Alright, so a few of you saw the post that I had the other day that I apparently was getting a chip drop order or dropped logs at my place. So I got the email, and then I usually like to text because when you use chip drop, they give you the service who's going to bring it to you, and usually a name, usually a number. But I wasn't sure if the number they provided with me in the confirmation that I would be getting logs was that like a landline or a cell phone. So I texted it and hope for the best. The person responded back to me, which is great. But then they called me a little later, said, we're not going to come today, planning for Thursday. And I'm okay with that. I'm not in no rush for logs. And then he mentioned that he had more than one load, like upwards of like maybe 10. And I'm like, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. So he mentioned pine, he mentioned fir. I'm like, I've been asked for a pine before, but let's go with the dog fir. So let's go through these logs real quick and just kind of check them out for a second. These are some big mammoth logs. Now, he was planning on using a crane and chunking them up into logs and going to the mill. Well, due to the city's ordinances and laws and whatever permit they had, a crane would be too close to the power lines, so he couldn't get long logs, so therefore he had to chunk them up in these massive sections. I mean, like, look at this thing. This thing is huge. So I got 2 loads here. Okay, I got 2 loads. This load here was the first one, started with the sun. I mean, look at this. I mean, that's just like a freaking, that is massive. That's a lot of wood. So all this wood is dog fir. Now, if you watch other channels here in the PNW, we have a lot of fir here, and it's kind of like a go-to wood because a lot of it. So why not burn it? It's not as bad as cottonwood, but for a softwood, it burns pretty darn good. So I got this load. This here was all one load. I moved these logs out of the way, and then he was able to back down and get me one more load here. Now I have more loads coming, I think. I'm not sure when he's coming. I'm not sure if he's coming back. It's a big question mark. I don't want to bother him because the arborists, I mean, they're in a tree. They don't want to fiddle with their phone. I mean, most of them aren't on social media, so they're not going to be wanting to taking calls when they're driving or wanting to move logs and whatever else. So I think he can put one more load right here type thing, but I'm not sure. But I was talking to my neighbor. He has some property across the street, and I think I can get this arborist to drop there, and then to drop as many loads as possible. That way I can take that wood and I can process it there, even stack it over there, and then I'll give a few cords of that wood, how much wood do we have over there, I give my parents. Make sure that my parents are warm and toasty this coming fall and winter. But I'm afraid I won't have enough room. So real quick, what I want to do is I want to get some of these bucked up to have so he can back up as far back as possible into here, dump, and able to drive out and have all the logs still on the lawn, because I don't want any logs or cutting on the gravel. This is bad news bears. I can rake up on the grass better than I can on the gravel. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to bust out the 400C. My 372 XP clone is again not working. I went to go start it the other day, and the pull string again had a problem. The boat anchor, not happy with it. I think I'm going to have to just buy an OEM, a recoil, a starter. There's a whole thing, the whole setup. Just buy a whole new one, start fresh, and that will be my starting point. Hoping to still use that saw and keep it, or get rid of it. I don't know. Anyway, let's fire up the 400 just real quick, make a few big cuts, and then I'm going to try something new and different. Stay with me. All right, see the carnage, few rounds, still learning the 400, but now from this point on towards the gravel, I have all the space right here to accept at least one more load. So it's on my property, on my side, so I can process it and stack it here rather than having to do it over there, which is fine. But then when I need the wood, I have to go over there and get it because I think I'm running out of space here to stack processed wood. So now that I got that done, I'm still learning the 400 power and it's 25-inch bar. What I want to do is I want to try how it does with noodling. Now, I want to say this, with the pro chain that it has on it, you know, with the yellow a chain link on it, I went through, I don't know, I think 2 tanks of wood. No, what did I do? All that alder that I bucked up with the 400C, all the alder, that whole trailer load full, was with stock chain. I didn't touch it, okay? But I think it was at the end of that, I ended up bucking. When I used it again, I hit dirt. I hit dirt. Now, and I was gonna power through it, but you know what? Brand new saw, stop Travis, get out the file, give it a little sharpening, and go and get at it. And you see these chips. These are not too shabby. And I'm still trying to perfect my filing. Not perfect. I got a 2-in-1 or whatever tool that does the rakers with the filing. The guy at the dealer assesses that, so I'm gonna try that with this machine, and maybe that will be another episode if I'm doing it properly. So I stopped. I gave each tooth maybe like 2 or 3, 4 or 5. It doesn't. You don't need to count. Just until a point where it's sharp. I gave each one a sharp edge, and that's what you see here. I cut into it. This is what you see. The balance, the remnants, is here. So my point is, it's not like a 90cc plus saw where if you're not razor cat claw sharp on your chain, you really can't power through it. Okay, it's just hard on everything when the chain is dull. And I was trying to muscle through some logs, and I got through maybe like 1 or 2, and I'm like, you know what, this is not worth it. I don't want to break my saw, and I was spitting out pixie dust. It was just nothing. Like so I knew, and then I knew the difference between running this into the older logs and having it just fly through it like nothing. And then I was cutting in some more logs, and it wasn't doing the same thing. Same saw. What was different? The chain was dull. So get to know your saw, and your chain, and the sharpness. Now, before we close up shop today, this is a quick episode. I want to try one thing. Now, we know this thing can fly through rounds and buck through rounds, but I want to show you what how it does with noodling. An example, and now I'll put the baby to the test, to its test, its maximum test thus far. Now, I have my measuring stick. Now, someone asked about this. Someone asked about measuring stick. I have one. I use it. Usually don't see it on the channel because I don't want to bore you with me measuring the wood. I'd rather entertain you with bucking. But yeah, I do use this. This is a Mark. I don't know. Amazon buy $20. You can make these too. They're all over YouTube, so it's nothing new. But yes, I do mark it. But when I was marking one of the first logs, I found out that this log here on the edge, and it's about a few inches, maybe a good 6 inches longer than 16. Well, what I do? Do I make one more cut and have a 16 and then a cookie? Or do I not do that and I just leave it as is and I buck this up and I split this as bonfire wood? Now, bonfire wood is wood that is bigger split and or longer cut. So this is why I accept tree service wood, because not all logs are going to be cut at 16. Not all logs are going to be cut where you cut, and your last cut's going to end up with a 16-inch round. They're going to be all over the place, and that's fine because I have found a way to still utilize it. I can sell shorter splits. I burn a lot of cookies, as well as I sell longer lengths and bigger splits as bonfire wood. Now I'm almost low right now because people, it's now spring, it's warm outside. They want a campfire outside and they want a big raging campfire. So why not burn, why not sell firewood that is bigger to appease your customer base? So save me time and frustration having to keep on bucking, leave the longer lengths as is, and split them and sell them. That's just me. Maybe you have a boiler, throw in those big chunks. Rock and roll, dig it. But I digress. We're going to try to noodle this, and we'll see how the 400 does. Ready? Go. All right, so you can see that the bar was just shy. It was like right in here with the very tip of the bar. So I was not even able to cut all of it, but I made pretty good headway. And I think the chain got a little dull sometime, even though it doesn't look too bad. I don't know. What do you think? I could use some little sharpening in there, but as I don't noodle very often. And when I do noodle, I probably go one bar depth and I stop, and then I use a metal wedge and a small sledgehammer and I finish the job. Because I'd rather do that because I'm physically able, and I think it's still effective by doing that versus having to noodle all the way through. Now, I don't have, this is a 66cc saw, a pro grade, and it's gonna cut whatever I put in front of it. But if I can try to save it a little bit, even though it's under warrant, and noodle only one bar depth, like I mentioned, and then finish the job with the metal wedge and a sledgehammer, then that's what I'll do. I'll finish this up, even though I went most of the way. I could roll it and finish it up. But what I was told by the dealer, that this 400C has a nasty kickback. So if you're not used to that, or you're new to saws, probably not the saw for you. Now, when I was first starting out with the chainsaw, that was my biggest fear. I would cut and I would stand away from the saw, so just in case it came back at me, it wouldn't hit me in the face. Now, as you run a saw, you gain more confidence, and you're going to handle the saw with enough grip or strength to make sure they're not going to kick back at you, but you're not going to have a death grip on it. It's however you feel safe enough to run it. Don't be careless, but know that these are powerful machines and they can hurt you. But wear your PPE, like I do. It's what it is. Anyway, that's noodling. We know that it can do it, but you won't see me do it very often. But yeah, got some new rounds. Excited about it. See if we get any more rounds. But I want to ask you, how much do you think I paid for this wood thus far? You let me know, as well as how much wood you think it is. I have a guesstimate, but you let me know how many cords these two lows are. Okay, let me know. Anyway, I mean, just real quick. Check this one out. This thing is just. This is a big old fir. Look at this thing. Massive. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Until next time, remember, life is short to be a prick, so be kind to one another. Rock and roll. Stay safe, keep cutting. Cheers.